Next, let's focus on that rather dispiriting night at the San Siro. England's embarrassing relegation. That's what it is from the Nations League. Their Nations League group has to be the least, I guess, of manager Gareth Southgate's worries right now. Weeks out from the start of the World Cup. No wins in 5. No goals in open play now in 7.5 hours. One match out from Qatar. So many, Perry Groves. More questions than answers right now. And
I looked at the game last night and I look forward to England. We all look forward to England games, don't we? Mm-hmm. So like novelty of the England break, and see you've got a young, vibrant team with loads of ability, loads of creativity. I don't know about you, Dan. I was actually quite bored watching it. I was waiting to be inspired, waiting for a spark of sort of a genius and, you know, someone to ignite it. Nothing. Stuart Pearcey said there, didn't he, in the commentary, it was safe, pedestrian.
Where was the ambition?
Slow, ambition, lack of positivity. And you said there about not scoring a goal in open play. It's 495 minutes, haven't scored a goal in open play, right? It's not as if you haven't got creative players. Like sometimes
teams... creative players aren't performing, are they?
No, they're not performing, but not given the platform, obviously, to go and perform.
So you're putting this on Southgate last night?
I think it would help if you played the right players in the right positions. Because when we saw the team that was named, on some outlets it was saying that Kyle Walker might be playing at left-back in a flat-back 4. Mm-hmm. No one really saw that Bukayo Saka was going to be the left wing-back because he hasn't played there for a year and a half for Arsenal. He plays on the right of a 3 for Arsenal. That's where Bukayo, in a 4-2-3-1. Yeah. And he was named England's player of the year. Yeah. Picks up the award because he was playing in the 4 positions. When you look at that, you can understand managers having a different opinion to yourself. You can understand doing things differently. But sometimes you look at decisions, you think, no, I'm really sorry. I don't understand what you're trying to do there. Because if you said that Antonio Conte was going to play Heung-min Son at right wing back, where he's always playing left of the 3 up front for Spurs, you'd think, no, he's never going to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's the same sort of thing. And I felt sorry for Bukayo Saka because in his eyes and his body, he actually looked lost. And I know you say, like, tactically you're playing at the top level, but then you have to get used to different angles, different positions, your different roles. And I don't know what you thought. Did you not think he looked a little bit lost and a little bit bewildered? But he didn't really know what his role was.
He just looked out of place.
Yeah.
But so many out there for England last night looked out of place. Before a ball was kicked last night, Perry, I was ready to criticise those that seemed really annoyed by this international break. Saw a lot on social media, people talking out, complaining, why now? I want more Premier League. Well, you can't be excited about the World Cup starting in November and not see these 2 Nations League games as absolutely vital for Gareth Southgate and for England. Time together now, so important. Then I watched last night. And Perry, I walk away from these games and I ask the question, what did we learn? You have to learn things. At this point, weeks out from the start of the World Cup, what did England learn? The only thing I think we learnt last night was that is a team that could well have started against Iran on Monday, the 21st of November. Real possibility with a few tweaks. Pickford coming in. Saka probably definitely not playing left wing back now for England. Few tweaks. But what we learnt is they are way off where they need to be right now.
And we learnt that won't be the team that starts the first game.
So we did learn something.
I learnt that you can't play just 2 in the centre midfield areas. Because Bellingham we talk about him later on, won't we, in the show, but obviously he was the shining light of them. But you can't dominate a game against the better teams with just 2. You need 3 in there, whether you go 4-2-3-1 and the person who's playing in the middle of the 3 then drops back and helps, or you go 4-3-3, or even if you go 5-3-2. You know, you've got to have a 3 in that centre of the midfield. So that's what we've learnt. We've learnt that I think Gareth Southgate has managerial brain fog when he's got to this situation. Well, again, it's you're looking at decisions and trying to understand why. So I don't think at the moment he knows he's right for his right formation. But then you look at the Ivan Toney sort of situation, where quite rightly he's been brought into the England squad because his form 100% deserves it. We've been lucky enough to watch Ivan Toney live
quite a lot,
for Brentford, and 12 Premier League goals last season. He's got 5 in 7 this season with assists. Then all of a sudden he's in the squad, but he's not in the matchday squad. And now I looked at that. In that matchday squad, there's 4 right backs in the matchday squad. Why do you just leave one of the right backs out?
3 keepers.
Yes, but just leave one of the right backs out because you know what Trippier can do. You know what Alexander-Arnold could do. Kyle Walker's obviously playing. Reece James. So leave one of the fullbacks out and put Ivan Toney as a centre forward, because then you have a choice with Tammy Abrahams and Ivan Toney. So on the Fogg side, I think when Gareth Southgate first got the job, right, I think he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He made, if you remember when he first got it, was 2016. He got the job and he sort of got rid of Joe Hart. He got rid of Wayne Rooney. Like big decisions, big characters, because he wanted to create a new, vibrant young team and create like a club-like atmosphere, no cliques.
Close-knit.
Exactly.
Together.
Because he was obviously in England squads where it was probably a little bit cliquey, and he didn't want that situation. He wanted to create a synergy, and he wanted to create
good use of synergy there.
Thank you. And a relationship with the fans, because the fans have become completely disassociated with the England team, right?
Disillusioned, yeah, yes. Absolutely.
So he wanted to create that, which he did, because this is a humble bunch of young, hungry players who are very talented. So I think he had all them plans set out. Now he's got to the stage where he's got to the World Cup semi-finals, obviously Euros finals, obviously get beat on penalties, so that, fine margins. He's got to the stage now, I think, he seems like he's a little bit lost. He seems like he doesn't have this vision. And the only way I can the analogy I can make, when you watch a Netflix series and you say you've watched 6 or 7 series and they're brilliant, and then it comes to the last series, and halfway through the last series you look at it and you think the writers don't know where they're going with this.
Game of Thrones.
Well, there you are, Game of Thrones. I think Killing Eve weren't great, was it, the ending either, to be fair? But when you just get disappointed,
yeah,
and you go, no, they're running out of ideas here. So he needs to focus himself, and he needs to get his stall set out where he's going to basically release the hounds. But we've got to play. We must play on the front foot.
But Perry, people love getting disappointed. I want
to get carried away.
Gareth Southgate is under real pressure. But this country have an amazing ability to elevate people to a godlike status. Took us last summer to a Euros final. He could do no wrong, Gareth Southgate. Argue with that.